today we will be discussing the National Security Agency and the FISA Amendment Act 702 and how it pertains to us as American citizens, and also globally how it pertains to every person on the planet. Alright, we'll start by discussing the Fourth Amendment. Fourth Amendment is part of the Bill of Rights, which is part of the United States Constitution. So the Fourth Amendment originally enforced the notion that each man's home is his castle. That means that you are secure from unreasonable searches and seizures of property by the government. It protects against arbitrary arrests and is the basis of the law regarding search warrants, stop and frisk, safety inspections, wiretaps, and other forms of surveillance, as well as being central to many other criminal law topics and privacy laws. So, Amendment 4, the right of the people to secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable search and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause. Supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. Okay, excellent. So the NSA was formed in 1952 by Harry S. Truman. Alright, so it originated as a unit to decipher coded communications, World War II, blah blah blah. Alright. We're not going to go over all of this. You can read it at your leisure. This is just a Wikipedia page. What we're going to focus on is the last paragraph here. So, hold on a second. Alright. So we're going to focus on this. The NSA's actions have been a matter of political controversy on several occasions, including its spying on anti-Vietnam War leaders and the agency's participation in economic espionage. In 2013, the NSA had many of its secret surveillance programs revealed to the public by Edward Snowden, a former NSA contractor. According to the leaked documents, the NSA intercepts and stores the communications of over 1 billion people worldwide, including United States citizens, which is against the law. Warrantless search and seizure, okay, as we discussed before with the Fourth Amendment. Okay, so next, the documents also reveal that NSA tracks hundreds of millions of people's movements using cell phone metadata. So, internationally, research has pointed to the NSA's ability to surveil the domestic internet traffic of foreign countries through boomerang routing. Very interesting stuff, huh? Next, we will let's discuss the mission and values of the NSA. So, the missions and values of the NSA. National Security Agency Central Security Service leads the U.S. government in cryptology that encompasses both signals intelligence, SIGINT, and SIGINT. What's it called? SIGINT. Sure. SIGINT and information assurance products and services, and enables computer network operations in order to gain a decision. It should be decisive advantage, maybe. Maybe they messed up. An information assurance products and services, and enables computer network operations in order to gain a decision advantage for the nation and our allies under all circumstances. Core values: commitment to service, knowing that country, friends, allies relying on us. We're dedicated to fulfilling our commitment to serve, blah, blah, blah. Respect for the law. Respect for the law. The law includes the Fourth Amendment. So yeah, they say they have respect for the law. Everything we undertake in our mission is grounded in our adherence to the U.S. Constitution and compliance with the U.S. laws, regulations, and policies that govern our activities. Except for the wireless searching and seizure of American communications. You know. Except for that. Yeah, that little bit they don't talk about. I guess they omit that part by on purpose. So they have integrity. We're committed to communicating honestly and directly, acting ethically and fairly, carrying our mission efficiently and effectively. Transparency. We're communicating to foster public understanding of NSA's missions and providing complete transparency to those who authorize and oversee NSA's work on behalf of the American people. Oh yeah? We'll talk about that later. Transparency, yeah. Respect for the people. We are committed to ensuring that all NSA personnel are respected, included, and valued in their diverse backgrounds, experience, skills, their contribution to missions and culture, blah, blah, blah. Accountability. That's a big one. We are accountable for our actions and take responsibilities for our decisions. Not practicing wise stewardship of public resources and placing prudent judgment over expediency. I'm calling BS on this one, but we'll discuss that more in depth later. Next, we'll discuss PRISM. Here's just a few slides of PRISM. I'll include all these slides and all these tabs in the description link below. Okay, PRISM US 984XN overview. The SIG AD used most in NSA reporting overview, blah, blah, blah. April 2013. This is from Snowden Leaks, by the way. Introduction. U.S. as world's telecommunications backbone. Much of the world's communication flow through the U.S. Targets phone call, email, or chat would take the cheapest path, not the physically most direct path. You can't always predict the path. Your target's communication could easily be flowing into and through the U.S. Basically means anything could flow through the U.S., even if it's not part of the U.S., right? Even if it's not a U.S. communication, right? So this just shows some pathways. Yeah, doesn't matter. All right, upstream. Collection of communication of fiber cables and infrastructure as data flows past. Up, up, up. PRISM. Collection directly from the servers from the U.S. service providers, Microsoft, Yahoo, Google, Facebook, Paltalk, AOL, Skype, YouTube, and Apple. Basically, everything you do on these websites is collected by the NSA. And they say you should use both. Yeah, sure. So, Fairview, Stormbrew, Barney, and Oakstar. So this is upstream, downstream. Makes sense? Everything that goes out, everything that comes in. Everything you look at, everything you send. Okay? Alright, so FAA 702. FISA Amendment Act 702 operations. PRISM. This just talks about the stuff that goes on. The about collection for the upstream. About is basically if you talk anything about terrorism or terrorists or anything like that, any of the keywords, they will collect your data, basically. So if they ever just want to collect people, they can just add more keywords, right? That's everyone. Everyone collects. Voice collection, direct relationship with comms providers. Basically, upstream, they get everything. So PRISM plus upstream equals everything. All communication. Yeah, we'll talk more about that later. PRISM collects collection details. Current providers. Microsoft, Google, Yahoo, Facebook, blah, 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 blah. So what we'll receive in collection. So they will get your emails, your chat, video, voice, your videos, your photos, your stored data, Voice VoIP. I think that's voice. I think that's like voice activated communications. Voice over Internet Protocol is a method group technology for delivering voice communications multiplying over Internet protocols. Yeah. Yeah, so any kind of calls you make on the internet, file transfers, video conferencing, notifications, target activities, logins, so they know your logins, online social network details, pretty much all your social networking, and special requests. I wonder what that is. I'll let that tell us. This is just shows a time graph of all the different Prism collections, like when they got on board, right? So from 2012 on, basically they got all the major corporations on board with it. I'm sure by now they have far more. So same day, INTOC FBI collaboration prevents 150 gigabytes X5 event from clear defense contractors, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Whatever. All right. In addition to Hotmail, Google, Yahoo, blah, blah, blah. Select IP addresses. Huh, okay. So they're collecting more, obviously, than what they said, so yeah. Alright, so this is a lot of information, so I just go over this. Alright, so this is the big one here. This just tells you the flow path, right? So data provided, FBI did whatever. It can go out. So basically, they get the data in, they can send it directly to the FBI or CIA. And then NSA gets it for all their little whatever they're collecting, right? So metadata, voice centering, processing, DNI, FA, blah blah blah. So they collect everything and then they kind of send it to all these little different areas. But of course, the FBI and CIA get everything. So this is an article from Wired by Lois Matskis. I don't know how to say her last name. Sorry, it might be a person. Sorry, Lois Matskin Security. That's on November 23rd, 2017. Congress is debating warrantless surveillance in the dark. Oh, imagine that. I wonder why they want it in the dark, you know. In 2013, former National Security Advisor contractor Edward Snowden famously brought to light a series of classified U.S. government spying programs. For the first time, the American people learned that the NSA was collecting millions of their phone calls and electronic communications, emails, Facebook messages, texts, browsing history, all without a warrant. Warrantless searching of American citizens, basically bypassing or violating the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution. So, several of the programs Snowden revealed are unauthorized or are authorized under Section 702, which we have discussed in detail, of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Amendments Act, FAA, of 2008, I'm sorry. The 2008 law was scheduled to sunset on December 31st, but in a last-ditch effort Thursday, Congress extended its authority through January 19th. Interesting. The Trump administration, meanwhile, believes that the authorization doesn't really expire until April. Oh, they're just going to keep pushing it back. Interesting. Leaving lawmakers several months to either reform or strengthen the provisions. Hanging in the balance is the legal framework the government largely relies on to conduct mass surveillance of foreigners and Americans who communicate with them, which makes it all the more concerning that the fight over Section 702's future has taken place largely in the dark. Swept up. Section 702 is intended to follow the intelligence officers to electronically surveil persons reasonably believed to be located outside the United States without a warrant. The provision was crafted after the Bush administration's secret warrantless surveillance program dubbed Stellar Winds was disclosed to New York Times by whistleblower and former Department of Justice Prosecutor Thomas Tam in 2005. So the NSA collects hundreds of millions of video chats, instant messages, and emails under Section 702 by compelling companies such as Facebook, AT&T, and Google to hand them over. They basically say, hey, you want to keep operating, you're going to hand us over all your communication. Now, the law also allows the FBI to search through the NSA's database without a warrant. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. So they swoop in, get all the data from all these companies, basically all your online communications. Then the FBI can go into this database and search without a warrant. And we'll talk about later how they justify, right? How they justify, we'll put air quotes, justify the warrantless searching and collection of American data, right? And how they can rig it to where they can always get your information, no matter what you do. And it's all warrantless, and it's all illegal. Alright. Section 702 technically, oh yeah, also we'll talk about the abuses that have occurred and that will continue to occur until this changes. Alright, Section 702 technically only authorizes intelligence agencies to collect information about foreign individuals, but, and the big but, citizens and permanent residents can easily get swept up in the dragnet. Basically, they're looking at all the communication around the United States or going out of the United States, right? So we can look at it here. They're looking at all the communications basically coming out of the United States, going to other countries, right? But if you just happen to have someone that you talk to overseas, you just get swept up in it, right? Basically, they just sweep everyone in, and then they determine who's guilty and who's not, right? So, yeah, just imagine that. Giving the NSA the ability to sweep up everyone's communications and then determining who's guilty. Interesting. Pretty much means there is no Fourth Amendment at that point. Under the authority of the government can target anybody who has foreign intelligence. That's defined so broadly. Okay. If you're a reporter who reports on global affairs or an activist who works on global affairs, you can be targeted under 702. We don't have exact clarity on who's been targeted. And once you're targeted, they get all your communication. Alright. Okay, let's see. Alright, so which only begins to get at the difficulty any decision about Section 2 runs into. This is one of the worst worded sentences ever. Democrats, libertarians, and privacy groups believe it violates the Fourth Amendment. Okay. While Republicans argue that limiting its power would impede national security. Imagine that. Like, oh, we're spying on everyone. We have the power. We can't give it up. It would be bad. Very bad. For national security, sure. It would be bad for them because they lose power. Not the Republicans, Democrats. But most proponents of the expiring law, along with its detractors, don't truly know how Section 702 works. Nobody knows. It's magic. And imagine this. If you have the ability to surveil every single thing that happens online from every single person on the planet, would you really explain it to people that way? Like, oh, we're surveilling everyone and everything, so yeah, don't worry about it. We got it. We're just gonna sit here, collect all the data, and then we'll find all the bad guys. Don't worry about your privacy. You know, we'll make sure. We will. The NSA will make sure we have integrity. Okay, NSA has integrity. Yeah, let's look at the core values again. That's right. Core values. They have integrity. You know, they have integrity. They would never. The NSA would never misuse the FISA 702. Ever. Except for when they do, right? Yeah. They respect the laws, you know, the Constitution. They talk about it even here. They respect the Constitution. They respect it enough that they will just violate it, you know, no problem. No problem. Okay, no one except those with the right security clearances. Really understand how the law is used, how many Americans it affects, or how effective the program that authorizes catching terrorists. Only individuals with detailed understanding of 702's programs are those inside the U.S. intelligence apparatus. Yes, intelligence. we're having a debate whether intelligence agencies are refusing to provide any information to Congress about the effectiveness of this program and the effect it has on people's liberties. Interesting. You have a case where you have this massive program, and in many respects, Congress is being asked to vote on it blind. All right, we're gonna skip a lot of this stuff. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. The lack of definitive information about Section 702 hasn't stopped Republicans from advocating for the law's continuation. In November, Representative Devin Nunes, who I have massive respect for, who chairs the Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, introduced a bill that would have reauthorized Section 702. In order to drum up support for it, his office circulated a 2-page fear-mongering pamphlet to members of Congress. It said 702 was vital in apprehending terrorist Haji Iman, and in one version, in all caps, declared, "Vote yes."